Hi, this is Martin Stellmacher, keyboardist of the band Prognostic. We do play progressive rock back from the old days, lots of Emerson Lake and Palmer stuff, King Crimson, Genesis, UK, Kansas, Rush, etc. And yeah, let me take a few minutes to introduce you to my live rig. Tonight is premiere night and we're all pretty excited. What is there to be said? Well, there are three main challenges that we're facing with that sort of music. Number one, we try to maintain the original character of the music whilst bringing it into sort of modern sound technology. Number two is we decided to play without guitars, so you only have drums, bass, keyboards and vocals. That means we need to compensate quite a bit, the bass player and myself, for the lack of guitars. And number three is we decided to play everything live, so there's no backtracks, there's no sampling and so on. So two main decisions when I started building the rack. Number one is no computer and master keyboard, but I want to play real keyboards. And the second decision was to use not vintage gear, but modern equipment, just for sake of flexibility, reliability, and weight, I guess. So let me show you what I've got. The main board is the Korg Kronos 2015 edition, 88 weighted keys, which I probably don't need to explain to any of you guys. It can basically do everything. I could run the whole show from here. You probably hear 80% of the sounds that you hear are coming from the Korg Kronos. There's just a few things where, given the original music, you know, I want to get closer to the original sounds. So over here we have, of course, a Moog Voyager with the particular lead sounds that we all know and love. And the Korg Kronos could do it, but not quite in the same way. I don't really do much with it other than I'm running it through the TC Electronic I think 300. It's just getting a little bit of reverb and delay, and that's about it. Otherwise I keep it as it is. Down here you see the Hammond SK1, which is the organ. Lightest piece of equipment that I have in the rig, as opposed to the original B-Synth and C3 and so on. It sounds pretty good as it is. It would sound even better with an original Leslie. It's got an internal Leslie which I bypass. What I do is I use a Neo Instrument ventilator, which you see down there, and the pedal board. And you hear the big difference when it's bypassed. Yeah, so great piece. It's got an extra overdrive, etc. Like I said, not as good as an original Leslie cabinet, but a lot lighter again and very reliable and just good enough. Then moving over here, the only thing of sort of computerized thing that I use is I have one app on the iPad, which is GeoShred, an app by Wisdom Music, sort of run by Jordan Rudess, who most of you may know, keyboardist of Dream Theater. And since it's one way to compensate with the lack of guitars, since it's got these all sorts of overdrive, feedback, guitar sounds, very good for shredding, really cutting through the overall noise of the band. Okay, moving over here to the rack. On the top I have a Dave Smith Prophet 8, very good for the analog sounds. I use it for some pads. I use it, for instance, for the intro of Emerson Lake and Palmer Carnival. Don't know whether it's coming through on the camera, but very sort of fat and analog sounding synth. Then down here we have next is the Memotron, which is sort of a digital sampled version of the original Mellotron. It's got this very famous sort of distorted, flurry string sounds for the intro of Watch of the Skies by Genesis, In the Court of the Crimson King by King Crimson, etc. Very famous sound. And then last bit is the Roland V-Synth XT, which is probably the most modern digital sort of piece of equipment. I use it for some pads, I use it for some sub-bass sounds and for, again, guitars. It's just a very cool gadget. I love it, and it's really complementary to the sort of Korg sounds. Every now and then I layer them, etc., etc. The way it's set up, these two are standalone, so when I touch them, you can hear them. You won't hear anything else. The whole rig is triggered via MIDI by the Korg Kronos. Audio-wise, it's all going through either, depending on the setup, through the little Samsung SM10 line mixer, very inexpensive sub-mixer. Today I run most of my keyboards through the Mackie, and down there it's just a little bit of PA equipment, compressors, a little bit of extra reverb, etc. What else? I've got a pedal board. It looks more than it actually is. So you've already seen the Neo instrument, sustain, volume for the Hammond, volume for the Korg, sustain pedal. Very importantly, the program change switch. This music is complex. I mean, if we just look at Tarkus by Emerson Lake and Palmer, it's running for what, 23 minutes or so. I think I have more than 50 ways the keyboard is set up with sounds, and you probably hear anywhere between 80 and 100 sounds, all layered and stacked and split, and all sort of strange things. Every now and then I just, with my pinky, I may just play tubular bells and a gong, whereas the other three are playing an organ sound, so all sorts of things going on. Very complex, very enjoyable. For those who love prog music. So yeah, that's my rig. I hope to see you at one of our shows. Thank you very much for watching. Check us out, www.prognostic.rocks, or find us on Facebook. Thank you.